Hey everybody, welcome back to the Armed Scotsman. Today on the table we have a Glock 19 Gen 5 and we have a Sig P226 MK25. Current Navy SEAL gun, previous Navy SEAL gun. Did the Navy SEALs choose right? Let's find out. Alright folks, let's go over these two. So obviously I don't know how much say the Navy SEALs actually have in their choice of sidearm. I don't know what kind of input they have and things like that. So more so, I'm just going to go over these two, tell you my preference on which current Navy SEAL gun or previous Navy SEAL gun I like better. Heads up, I love both of these. I run Glock 19s and I freaking love P226s. So I'll be curious to see how this comes out. So anyway, all right, let's start with the 19. So obviously, you know, when you pick this up, this is a metal frame gun. You know, it's heavy. This is a polymer lower with a metal slide, so obviously this one is going to be lighter right off the bat, and that just is what it is. Okay, so moving down, pop the mag. It comes with I think 3 15 round mags if I remember correctly. These are just, you know, polymer mags. They're about 20 bucks for an OEM mag, plentiful and cheap, so they are excellent. And you can run, you know, they have extended mags and you can run in these all day long as well. So all right, so there's the bottom, there's your grip. The grip angle, some people love or hate the grip angle of a Glock. It doesn't bother me so much, but I do think this is kind of a chunky grip for a compact gun. Now, compact. I do have medium-sized hands. I've always felt that the 19s are just a smidge. It would be nicer if it just had a little slimmer for my hands personally. But anyway, you've got some nice texturing all the way around, and this is standard in all Glocks. This is how they're texturing. This is what they do. You can add back straps on here. That does come with the your kit, but with my hands already struggling, I would not put on any. But yeah, all right. Trigger undercut, oversized mag release with some serrations on there, and then you got a little bit of serrations at the front there on your trigger guard. Let's go to the trigger. Now Glocks are not known for having amazing triggers, but when you get them and they're okay, they obviously work. 19s are stupidly reliable, and yeah, I've never had a problem with any of my Glocks. But the trigger, now this one's broken into because it is a range gun down here at Ready Gunner in Orem, Utah. So safety blade on the center there because there is no manual safety up here. Knock my camera again. So you got a little bit of take up. You're at the wall. Pretty decent break, and then you got the let out. Very positive and tactile. Not a bad trigger. Now, I know these aren't competition guns, guys. I know these are duty grade. These are people use them in the military and stuff like that. You don't want a super light trigger and whatever else. Like, I get it, but I'm just, for the review purposes, I'm just going to explain how the triggers feel, so everyone knows. So you can obviously add lights and lasers up here, whatever you need. These are your takedown levers. Slide lock, slide release is ambidextrous. And I did forget to say, the mag release can be switched to the other side of your Glock. So if you're lefty, you can switch it, which is handy. Moving up, you've got serrations front and back on your Glock. They're pretty deep, they feel good, no problems with those. Moving up to the sights, the dreaded, horrible, plastic, crappy Glock sights. So yeah, they're just plastic, they're just white like this. This is what they come with, this is the standard. Do I like them? Absolutely not. First thing you should switch out on a Glock is the sights. They do sometimes come with night sights, and you're golden with the Glock night sights, but these are crap, and I really dislike them. So yeah, change those out. So this is what comes out the box though. And then it comes with their Glock MOS system. The MOS system is not particularly great either, personally, in my personal opinion, because you take this off and then you're going to need a plate adapter to put in here to put whatever optic you need on top. So instead of the optic sitting lower, it's going to be sitting a little higher, because essentially this would be essentially your plate, your adapter plate that you put on, and then you're putting your optic on top of it. So it's just not a great mounting system. It's something I think Glock really needs to look into. I think a lot of people who, not a lot of people, I know people that will buy the non-MOS version and have it milled for RMR or whatever, because it's just going to be a better mounting system. So, but the Glock is just, it's used everywhere, right? And it's used in militaries, special forces. It's the most popular handgun in America. It's just, and there's a reason for it. It's amazing. It's super reliable. It freaking works. There's not a lot to not like about a Glock. Yes, the features there's not a ton of like fancy features on this, but it works, and that's the most important thing in my opinion. So, and again, I have a couple of 19s, and mine are customized a little bit, so I did change the sights, I put a radian on mine, and I changed the trigger out. But So I mean, and these are like Legos too, right? The aftermarket support for these is freaking wild. You can do whatever you want to a Glock. You want to do something, the chances are that product's available out there. So yeah, they're great guns. A little featureless, but fantastic weapons. All right, now this is the Mark 25 P226. P226 is probably my favorite gun in the world. I freaking love P226s. More specifically, I love the Legions. I think they're just fantastic firearms. So this is what the Navy SEALs used to use before the 19 came along. Now, as I said, it's a metal frame gun. It is going to be heavier. So yeah, it comes with, let's have a look here, with your metal mag. These are 15 round mags. So yep, so they are good to go. And then here is your mag well. Coming up to your grip, obviously you got these grips can be replaced. You can see the screws here, so you can change these out if you want, but it is engraved with the Mark 20, it is marked with the P226. Got some serrations on the front there, and then you've got the logo on there. Feels very comfortable in my hand. I love how it feels excellent. Got nice palm swell, feels very, very, very good. Moving up, got a little bit of a trigger undercut, and then you have your mag release right here with some nice texturing on there. Trigger guard has some serrations on the front, none on the bottom. Nope, none on the bottom. Just got those serrations on the front right there. I don't know if that trigger can be switched to the other side. I cannot remember, but if you do remember, maybe comment down below for me. This is double action, single action only. There is a single action only available in the Legion, but on this one it is the double action, single action only. So with the trigger now, with the hammer down like this is in double action. So meaning if I pull this trigger, it's a long, heavy pull. You have to be very deliberate to pull that trigger. You're not going to accidentally pull that trigger. It's very heavy, very long, and so it makes it a lot safer for carrying when the gun is loaded. Now, if the hammer's back, if the gun's shot, the slide's gone back, and the hammer's back, it puts it into single action mode, and then what happens is the trigger's already lightened up. It's in that single stage, so it's a very short pull. That's very light. You're at the wall, and that is your break. Very nice. Check the reset. Positive and tactile. It's a very nice trigger. The single action only trigger is nicer in my opinion. Okay, 1913 pick reel. This is your takedown lever. This is your slide lock, slide release. It is not ambidextrous, as you can see. Moving up to the slide, you got serrations on the front. Slide, it feels very nice. Feels like it's kind of almost on butter, on rollers like butter. It's very nice. You have the Navy logo right here. Get that to focus a little better. And so yeah, so serrations, no serrations on the front there. So if you want to do press check, it is a little slidey. But yeah, so and also these are designed for anti-corrosion. Their coatings and things like that are designed because obviously if these are going in salt water and things like that, you want to make sure that the gun's going to hold up for a long time. So they do have a coating for anti-corrosion. All right, let's show you how this decocker here works. So when the hammer is forward, that decocker is not going to do anything. If you have shot the gun or if you have pulled the hammer back to put it back in single action only, remember this is going to be a light trigger, and it's not probably ideal for carrying it in this stage because it is pretty dang light, right? So if you finish shooting or you pull that hammer back and you want to put it in a safer condition, you're just going to pull down on that lever and it puts the hammer back and it puts the trigger back into that double action, that long heavy pull, which in my opinion makes it much safer for carrying the gun. The P226 has been around for a very long time. It is absolutely proven, just like the Glock 19. Again, this is world renowned. P226 has been used in militaries, police forces, personal use, you name it. They're extremely reliable, just like the Glock 19. All right, let's go ahead and shoot these and then talk about that. All right, just finished shooting, but I wanted to go over just a kind of a size comparison before we talk about the shooting. So you can see the P226 is longer. It's probably a little wider. It's obviously longer here on the back. So overall, the P226 is the bigger gun and obviously much heavier gun. Okay, so let's talk about the shooting. it's going to be no surprise that the P226 is the softer shooting gun. It's a bigger gun and it's heavier, it's metal, it's going to reduce that muzzle flip. So overall, this is the nicer shooting gun. Again, no shocks because this is polymer framed, it's lighter and things like that, right? So there's no shock there. So, but they're both, again, it's not like this is unmanageable, this is just softer, you know? So shooting, again, I've shot the Legion extensively and I've shot the Glock extensively. They're both great guns. Again, I've never had any problems with either. So, you know, so I said, you know, did the Navy SEALs make the right choice? So the question is, you know, the old adage goes, you know, ounces mean pounds and pounds means pain, right? So this is a heavier gun and all that kit adds up and you know, it starts to wear on you. In today's age, if you know, stepping away from that Navy SEAL thing, in today's day and age, if I was poop hits the fan, I'd want a Glock, just because there's mags everywhere, parts everywhere, they're super common, right? Just how it is. If I could only, if someone was like, you could only have one for the rest of your life, I'd want the P226 Legion. I think this is a gun that you would hand down to your grandchildren, your children, or whatever. The Glock is a fantastic tool, but I would definitely want the P226 Legion. I mean, the Mark 25 is fantastic, but the P226 in general, I would want, if I could only have one for the rest of my life, it would be a P226. All right, folks, that's it. Until next time, I'll catch you later.